Okay, so there are different types of payloads. Okay, payloads could be basic payloads, types of payloads, and payload applications. Some components we have already discussed from this topic also, but we'll see how it is there. Okay, so payload is what? Payload is the weight a drone or a remote piloted vehicle can carry or unmanned aerial vehicle can carry. Okay, so it is apart from its own weight, the additional weight what a drone can carry. So what we said that maximum takeoff of the weight should be 50% of the total thrust calculated, right? So four motors, each motor 10 kg thrust. So four motors will have 40 kg, half of that. So my drone weight, including the payload, should be 20 kg. Okay, so it is usually counted. So payload weight is usually counted outside the weight of the drone itself and includes anything additional to the drone, such as extra cameras, sensors, or packages for delivery. So you can see here on Predator drone there are big cameras are there, like you see here. Okay, or there could be missiles on the Predator drones also. Okay, or like this delivery drone is there. In the belly there is a option to keep the package along with the parachute. So where it opens the belly and that package comes down from here. Okay, so this is payload. So this is payload. This is drone. So when the drone and package is inside, it is a total weight of the drone. When the drone or the package is outside, so this is only drone weight and the package is separate. So whenever we normally say all of takeoff weight or maximum takeoff weight is drone plus payload. Remember this, drone plus payload. Okay, so drone weight can be calculated separately and the payload weight can be also calculated separately. But the combination of both should be 50% of your total thrust. 50% of total thrust. So total thrust of the drone, how do you calculate? Suppose hexacopter hai aapka, and you are having a motor of 10 kg. So what will be the total thrust?
10 into 6, 60 kgs.
60,
60 kgs. So what will be the capacity of your drone?
30.
30.
30.
Right? Now you understood, right? Okay, so what is gimbal? Gimbal is used to stabilize the camera load that have been mounted on a drones and other autonomous vehicles such as UGV. Okay, the gimbal integrates IMU, inertial measurement unit, that responds to motion and provides inputs to controller that activates separate motors to keep the payload steady on each axis. So as sometimes you are taking a very dramatic situation, you are flying the drone. So that point in time your drone is flying, you need to make sure that your gimbal is in such a way configured such that the the object is locked in the camera. So you will feel that though it is going and moving, the object is very steady. Okay, so that is what is the advantage of having the gimbal. So gimbal will actually stabilize the camera. Okay, so if the gimbal is not there, you directly attach the camera to the drone. What will happen? Whatever the motion is happening with the camera with the drone, it will impact the shooting also, the footage, right? The picture will go up and down, left, right, whatever the way drone is flying. So to reduce that, you have a gimbal. So you can have a gimbal of 2 axis or 3 axis gimbals also. And then it is being controlled, it is getting inputs, it has rubber mattings, rubber pads also over here to stabilize. So maximum whatever vibrations or the motions are happening, that has been reduced in the gimbal, and gimbal can also on its own control its or keep a track of the object. Okay? So there are motors. These are again BLDC motors, servo motors. These are BLDC servo motors. Okay, so this can also move very precisely. Okay, so you can fix your motion of your camera and fix the motion of your axis, whatever direction you want to do. Okay, so there are different types of electro-optics payload. RGB cameras, thermal cameras, LIDAR, multispectral, hyperspectral, all are these are electro-optical payloads. Okay. So RGB camera is nothing but human eye is sensitive to red, green, and blue band of lights. Most standard drones comes with a camera that captures the same RGB band, so the image they produce create almost exactly what you see or what your eye see. Okay, so whatever colors you see, the camera will try to capture as it is. Okay, that is what your RGB camera, similar to our mobile phone cameras or whatever the normal camera DSLRs what we are using, the same RGB cameras are being used in drones. Okay, even you can put your DSLR camera on the drone. You can put your GoPro cameras also. A lot of people are even putting the mobile phones on the drone also to capture the images. Okay. So what is drone RGB? With the RGB camera on your
Can't hear
drone, you
you.
can. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so RGB camera. What is drone RGB? With the RGB camera on your drone, you can see your entire field in one place by processing aerial image into a orthomostic map. Quickly make observation, enter the geodata in your GPS, and drive right into the problem area without damaging your entire field. Okay, so for example, what happens? You are capturing the RGB image, and then there are softwares available, like Pix4D is there, or Drone Deploy is there. A lot of or what you say, geometric softwares are there. Okay, so this software will give you the interpretation of that image. Okay, they will create orthomorphic maps, make quick observation. You can see the maps in real time also. Nowadays, this facility is also available that you don't need to bring your drone down, then transfer the data, then you analyze your images. And a lot of time you can do real time what you say observation and analysis of your data also, and then you can tell your client also where what is problem. Okay, so this is one of my subject where actually I am using a drone for crop monitoring and soil monitoring for my PhD thesis. Okay, so especially in the soil monitoring I'm using a multispectral camera where it will be scanning the entire field, because lot of time what happens, the farmer will only capture small sample of the soil and give it to the lab. He is not actually seeing the entire field. Okay, he is randomly picking the soil from couple of locations, 4 or 5 locations. He will capture the soil, but he may be capturing a good soil from his sampling, because that is a random sampling. Whereas when I am flying the drone over the entire field, my entire field is basically is viewed or being monitored by the drone, by the hyperspectral camera, okay, or multispectral camera, and I'm getting the complete picture, real time view of my field over there, where what kind of treatment is required on the field. Plus, I will also correlate my data with the traditional data also, to just to see how variance is coming in my observation and the traditional way of data. Okay, so that way we will actually helping the people to come up to the stage where drones will be more useful for soil monitoring kind of environment. Okay. So again, visible camera sensor imager that collects the visible light in 400 to 700 nanometers and converts that into electrical signals, then organize the information to render the images or video streams. Okay, so you can have a different type of images, like you can see mineralization, seed rate, soil organic matter, or denitrification zone. So all these parameters you can derive once you have the image or your data is available. You can put them in your software and you can make the analysis and give that report to the end user, maybe the farmer, or you can tell it to the body whosoever is doing it. So last year, basically, similar exercise was carried out by the Gujarat government over the Gujarat district. They have captured the entire images of this district, and they have formed one body which are actually analyzing and comparing the result from the drone data as well as from the satellite data, and which will be helpful for the farmers and available for farmers to do the necessary corrections in their field as on then they required. Okay, so that body will continue evolving and developing the software, and I think that will be available to the public over the internet or through the app also. So you can just feed your coordinates and you will get the data about your field and your location also. Okay, features of payload: software stabilization. I told you, like, it can track the objects. Okay, video process steers the gimbal to maintain the object of interest inside the video frame, even if the object is moving and aircraft platform is moving, like your drone is continuously moving, it can track the objects. Okay, so these are all options available nowadays into your gimbal as well as in your drones. Okay, application of RGB sensors like traffic monitoring. We have seen this is being widely used during the Kumbh Mela, right? During the Kumbh Mela, the crowd was monitored using the drones. There was a lot of announcement also made through the announcement drones also. Even the vehicle tracking also we can see crowd monitoring, or the vehicle tracking also can happen using the drones sensor. Okay, disaster management: drone can be used for fire detection, intervention monitoring, and also for post-fire monitoring. Border security: this we have seen in recent times in the war also. Like a drone can quickly fly over, detect threats, and provide aerial images and real-time footage. So it's not possible because lot of time you see the post is at most 5 to 10 kilometers away from the actual border also. Okay, so it is not physically possible every time you go to the border and check whether there is any infiltration happening or not. But it is very easy to send a drone over that location and just keep a monitor. Right? You can just take a snapshot of it. You know, like every 15 minutes or every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes, you can send a drone and check it. But physically, for sending person every 20 minutes is not possible, right? Or he cannot be stationed at the border, exactly at the border also to monitor it, because border is not a small area; it's a so vast area border. So monitoring the border is also difficult. So you will always utilize drones. So now, as we have seen the utilization of the drones in the war and all that, people have now understood the importance of the drone. Definitely, the market will rise. Okay, 100% the market will give a rise. It is a, I would say, the war has given a good opportunity for drone to be tested and to bring in the front of the people now. Okay, so there is lot of all these companies who are there. There are IPOs of the companies and the shares are there of the Idea Force, all those companies, Adani, those who are into aerospace and all these things. They have got their share value up, okay, by 5 to 10% in the market. Okay, application of RGB sensors like aerial surveillance, use of unmanned, increasingly completely automated drone inspection already cause use ways in asset management and sector. Okay, so you can do it for wind turbine, ships. Even ships are being monitored, like container ships. Like I think Gautam might tell about like container ship. It is very difficult to monitor the container ship from every side because everywhere on the container ship there are containers, and it is very difficult, to climb up, down, see from the left side. So even the ships are being employing deploying drones to keep a track or just to see or from all the directions about the ship movements and all the things. If there is any, like a lot of time we see that like pirates especially, they bring small ships for, because the container ships are very huge, especially in the night. Those time these chances of attack and all the things happens. Gautam, you can add to that.
Yeah, you're right. Many ships are using that for anti-piracy and also
Correct.
for safety.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this aerial surveillance is happening. So now there are people who are coming like how Gautam is doing the course. Probably you can also, like wherever you're in which organization you are working, you can propose that also if they're not using it. Okay, so that will give an ad. Since now you will become a pilot, you can always tell about this, and then they can think about it and they can adopt it about it. Okay, application of RGB sensors for solar farms, wind farms, railways, bridge inspection, power lines, mobile phone towers, oil and gas pipelines monitoring, water pipelines monitoring, building and constructions, real estates also have been using this drone. So drone-based asset inspection work is now taking a very big. Like if you see the reports of last 2 years, 2024 and 2025, the inspection segment has taken the number one position. Okay, though it was earlier also it was number one position, but now it is taken at a very high level. So the second position is taken by agriculture, third is been taken by the aerial photographers, okay, or cinematographers, fourth is basically by the real estate people. Okay, and then subsequently people are been there using the drone. So asset inspection is the biggest market in the drone industry as of now. Okay, so because you see there are so many options available. You can solar farms, wind farm, railways, bridge inspection, power lines. So this is a huge opportunities over here to utilize the drones. Okay, so application of RGB sensors can be used for 2D mapping or 3D mapping. 2D mapping you can do in a fixed camera also, but in 3D mapping you can do gimbal. So gimbal you can give different images, different angles. You can take the photos and you can create a orthomasic 3D model, okay, or 3D elevation model. You can create using those images, whatever the data you captured. But then you for this all this doing this, it is not only the images, but then you need that software which does creates all this kind of 3D mapping softwares, 3D mapping data. Okay, so application of RGB sensors like mining, erosion detection, boundary management, progress monitoring. So even those areas, even the mining people, a lot of mines have already started deploying drones to monitor their mines and the stock of their mines. Okay, or erosion detection, boundary management, project progress monitoring also. Like even in the real estate is a project progress monitoring, whether every month you will fly the drone and take the stock of your project. Okay, so after RGB, you have a thermal. Thermal is nothing but a thermographic camera or an infrared camera detects the infralight or a heat invisible to human eye. Because we can't see the heat, right? We can only feel the heat. but these thermal cameras can see the heat. It's in infrared sense. Okay, the thermal imager, also known as thermal camera, is essentially a heat sensor that is capable of detecting tiny differences in temperature. The device collects the infrared radiation from object in a scene and creates an electronic image based on the information about the temperature difference. So these, whatever you are seeing the pictures, these are nothing but these are created based on the temperature differences. Okay, so there will be a temperature differences. As the temperature difference, automatically the picture will get created on your screen, on your display, or maybe in your station. You will get it created. Okay, so application of thermal payload originally developed for surveillance and military operations, but thermal cameras are now widely used, especially like building inspections, moisture, like lot of people in the constructions are been using. Like after 1 year or 2 years, lot of people complain that that roof is leaking, or even the walls are getting leaked. So you can use thermal cameras for inspection purposes. You can fly the drone upper side, outside the wall also. You can fly the drones and take the thermal images, all the things. So firefighting people are also using to detect the fires, autonomous vehicle and automatic braking, skin temperature monitoring, industrial inspections, solar panel inspections, power line inspections. Even in power line transfer, we were asked not only to fly the drone with the RGB camera, but even the thermal footages were also required there. Pipeline inspections, wildlife monitoring. Okay, I have a very good example of pipeline inspection example. I will tell you during the practicals. Okay, some topics we'll just leave it for general discussions. Just remind me during that point in time. I will give you the example of pipeline inspection, a very classic example which we have faced, and how it has helped because of the thermal camera. Because normally when you are taking a RGB footage of a pipeline, you are only seeing a pipeline, but you do not know how corrosive has happened from the inside, or how damage has happened to it. So thermal images will give you the different perspective of the structure. Okay, even in the power line inspection, when we do thermal inspection, it gives a different perspective. You will know where the wire is getting heated. Okay, normal image में आपको क्या दिखेगा? Wire will look like same everywhere, right? But when we take a thermal images of that wire, we know where it is getting heated, where it is getting problem, where it is going to get damaged. So after hitting over the period of time, that wire breaks also or cracks also. Okay. So if you know that wire is getting enormously heated, maybe that wire, that particular junction of that wire may be faulty, or you may have to get it replaced, or it will may break some other time. So if it instead of waiting for it the disaster to happen, we should always take a proactive measures. So अगर हमको मालूम है कि वो break होने वाला है और it is in a worse condition, we can take a decision, we can take a downtime and replace that wire. Okay. Similarly for pipeline also, if you know that my pipeline is going to get busted, and waiting for that disaster to happen, what I will do is I will stop the water for a period, and then I will replace that particular junction or repair that junction and do the proactive measures. Similarly for wildlife monitoring also, that wildlife monitor can be also done through thermal. So especially in Africa and all those things, that the people use, a lot of places they use thermal cameras, okay, to track the motion of the wildlife. Okay, this is application of your building inspection, moisture, insulation, roofing, like everything you can monitor using thermal inspection. Okay, firefighting, autonomous vehicle and autonomic braking, automatic braking, all the things you can see here. Skin temperature. This I think you would have seen it during the pandemic, right? Lot of exit and entry points where they have put the thermal cameras, right? So even using the thermal cameras, you can do skin temperature monitoring. So these are just applications we put up over here. Industrial app inspections also we use a lot of thermal cameras, because we need to know the structure of the pipes, structure, whatever it is there. You need to get a third view of it. Normal RGB will not tell you whether my structure is good or bad, but thermal will tell me whether it has become corrosive, whether it has been damaged from internal, or there is something issue with that particular material. All that information can be extracted from the thermal images. So especially in industrial inspection or windmill turbines, solar panel inspections also done by the thermal payloads. Okay, power line inspection I told you about. Okay, so that is about thermal. Then we have lidar sensor technology. Lidar sensor is nothing but light detection and ranging. Sensor use light energy emitted from a laser to scan the ground and measure the variable distance. So there is a pulse, laser pulse has been dropped on the ground and it will keep on measuring the distance. Okay, so that how the as your lidar is being moved, it will keep on sending the laser pulses and it will capture the data. The variation it will carry, it will measure and it will have that information, and based on that inputs, it will create the image. Okay. So what is lidar technology in drones? Lidar drones are any drones made to carry lidar sensors. So lot of there are special drones required because this lidar device is very big and very huge. Okay, sometimes even this lidar is more expensive than your drone also sometimes. So you need to be careful in that. You have to use specialized drones. There are drones which have been designed only to have a lidar as a payload. Okay, so those drones only you have to fly if you want to capture a lidar images or lidar data. So basically using the lidar images, you create a detailed 3D model for variety of applications and industries. So depending upon whatever your requirement is there, this is mostly used in land surveying or civil lines or even for urban planning. All those requirements you will be using this type of drones or this type of payloads. Okay, so application of LIDAR sensor, which stands for light detection and imaging, is remote sensing technology that uses laser beam to get the information about the surrounding objects. Since its inception, scientists have used LIDAR to map the Earth's surface. This is specifically used by Meteorological and Geographical Society of India. Okay, those people have been extensively using LIDAR to capture the images of the Earth's surface and acquire meteorological data also. Okay, so especially the agriculture people, forest department, all these people are using lidar to capture the real time data about the surfaces. Okay, so application of drones, agriculture drone can help farmer to optimize use of inputs, fertilizers to react more quickly. So we can do crop monitoring using not only spraying and seeding is there, but there are drones which are used for crop monitoring purposes also. Okay, but if you do crop monitoring, we will give you an input. Accordingly, you can spray the fertilizers, pesticides, or insecticides, or whatever the water, even water you need to put on the crops. Accordingly, you can take a decision. So because you are getting real time data, you are seeing the crop on real time. Like for example, your sugarcane crop, it is very difficult to go inside the sugarcane crop. Okay, when it is at least 8 feet or 10 feet height, it is very dangerous to go inside the sugarcane crop. So it is always advisable to fly a drone over the sugarcane crops and take the stock of the sugarcane, and then accordingly you can take it. Even the fertilizer spraying karna hai sugarcane crop paper, it is always advisable now, or people have seen the benefit of using drone for spraying the fertilizer on the sugarcane crops. Okay, the last is application of drone. We have seen the drone has been used a lot of time in the light shows and all. Okay, so with that we complete the payload installation and utilization. So most important from the payload topic is RGB camera, thermal camera, and LiDAR camera, which are being extensively used for commercial purpose. The scientist or the specialized uses hyperspectral camera or your multispectral cameras only, very specialized, like Geographical Society of India, meteorological departments, or remote sensing people. They will be using those high-end cameras for their purpose, research purposes. For a commercial purpose, normally you will be using maximum time your RGB or thermal. LIDAR will be the very extreme rare case until unless you have real requirement for LIDAR, okay, or a specific requirement for LIDAR. Maximum time your payload will be always RGB or up to thermal max, not beyond that. Even you see the DJI drones, there are DJI drones which have been developed, they have only RGB or thermal cameras only. Until unless you have a specific requirement, then only you can put LIDAR on that or many any other cameras on those drones, like hyperspectral or multispectral cameras on those drones. But maximum DJI are selling RGB cameras only, okay, or max to max thermal cameras are available with DJI, right? Any questions so far? Or we can
None for me.
yeah, quickly run the last topic. Uh, I think Nishant, you have a doctor's appointment, right? You have to go by 6. That's what you told me.
Yeah, 10 is fine. I mean, 10 minutes. Yeah,
So अभी ये ज़्यादा नहीं है. I mean, this is just 20 slides.
yeah, yeah.
So this we can cover up. Okay, I am just keeping the tea break. Okay, so that we can wind up and we can have a tea break by 6:05 or 6:10 minutes. Okay. So any questions so far on the payloads? So what will be the payload on my agriculture drone?
Thermal.
No.
RGB.
Payload.
Will be
Agriculture
liquid
drone will
tank.
have liquid tank.
Liquid tank. Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's say
Yeah.
fertilizer tank, right? Fertilizer tank or water tank, whatever it is. Or if I'm using a agriculture drone for seeding purpose, then it will be having a seeder as a payload. Okay. So नीचे centrifugal motor होता है जिसमें से seeds spread out हो जाते हैं. Okay, on the ground. Okay, so that could be the payload for there. So this is just an introductory topic about the drone data and analysis. So what kind of drone data we can expect and what can we do using the drone data. So as a pilot, you are not going to do any drone data analysis or configuration unless you meant to do it. Like if you are a cinematographer, you are capturing the data. You need to know how the data is getting captured. What is it? So then only you will able to fly the drone more effectively and efficiently. Okay, so a lot of time it is not one individual person's job. Like you can't fly the drone as well as you can capture the image. It's not possible. If you are doing for some production house or for some company or a thing, I think Priyam can talk about it or Nishan can also talk about it. They are already done for this kind of activity. So you can tell me more about it. Okay, so table of content. One is principle of observation, elements of image and video interpretation, introduction to photogrammetry, types of image and video data, and analysis. Okay, so how do you see the benefits of the this data? Okay, so principles of observation is recognizing target is the key of interpretation and information exchange. So for what purpose you are actually capturing this image? For example, when I was flying, my drone pilots were flying the drones on the power line towers. We were capturing the images, but my pilot was not at all aware कि हम लोग को क्या capture कर रहा है. Initially when they were, I just told them you just fly the drone near the tower and try to capture images as much as possible. Okay, the first 2 days we didn't tell anything to our pilot. We just wanted to see what is the mind of the pilot, what is his capturing. तो उन्होंने मस्त कैप्चर किया, सब कुछ किया, everything we got the footage and everything. Some pictures were useful, some pictures were no use of it. Okay, because they were not what is data what we were required was not there. Okay, then we took a session. Okay, we showed them what you have done, what was not required and what is required. Okay, what image was useful, what images was not useful. So we gave them initially inputs. Okay, so we told them that what is required when you are flying a drone, we need to have a complete overview of the boundary of the tower. So we need to see what vegetations have grown near the tower. Okay, we need to know what vegetation are being grown near the tower. That is what we need to see first. That is what we have asked them. Then we told them we need to capture the nameplate of that tower. Then there is a danger plate of the tower. Then there are joints of that towers. Then we need to see whether when we are flying the drone over there, whether there are bird nests on those towers or not, or anything what is not supposed to be there that is there. You should your drone should capture all those images. Then we ask them to capture the insulators, the joints. As the tower becomes smaller on top, there are a lot of joints, there are a lot of connectors, there are a lot of bolts. In case any location where there are joints, there could be any member could suppose there is a member bar has to be there. If that is missing, broken, or not been put during the time of installation itself, or any bolt is missing. Like a lot of time you are supposed to put 3 bolts. The person who makes the tower he just put the 2 bolts only. Okay, so you are supposed to put the third bolt also. So that bolt is missing. So your drone should capture those images. Or there are insulator panels on the tower. Okay, where the electric wire is getting connected. Okay, so that insulator wire, a lot of time it get broken because of the spark. It get damaged. A lot of time it get oxidized. All that things have happened. So you need to capture those images. So once we have equipped with them that information, they know what to do it now. But now since again when they next time they captured, they tried to capture, they were improvement in their image capturing. But again that was manual. Okay, so manual again we do not know what way. So we created a flight plan, a software where it will fly based on the inputs, based on the dimension of the tower and the height of the tower and the angle of the drone, angle of the tower, whatever it is. All those inputs were fed into the software, and that creates the plan. Okay, so then your drone will fly uniformly at regular intervals. It will capture the images. So earlier my drone pilot was hardly capturing 100 to 200 photos. But when I was capturing through autonomous mode, I was capturing almost more than 500 photos. Okay, almost more than 500 photos were captured. So I was having a detailed data about that particular tower. Not only photos, it was actually also taking, after the photo session, it was capturing the video section also. So it was capturing the all 360-degree view of the tower. Okay, so I have enough data. I have almost 500 to 600 photos of the tower, plus I have 2 GB of video data of that tower. So even my quality of my video was very good, so I can real time I can zoom and see line by line each location of the tower. So that is what my observation, or that is what how I was capturing my data. So recognizing target is a key to interpretation and information extraction. Observing the difference between the target and their background involves comparing different targets based on all of the visual elements like tone, shape, size, pattern, texture, shadow, and association. Now, these are some challenges. Okay, like for example, we used to start our activity at 7 a.m. and our activity used to get over by 5 a.m. Okay, sunset after the sunrise and before the sunset, our activity used to happen in that way. But again, during different type of time of a day, I used to get a different images. Like sunrise ke time, one angle I am getting good photographs, but other angle I am getting dark photographs because the position of the drone camera. Okay, with respect to the sun, I am getting good photographs when my sun was high up in the air. High up in the sky. Like that is between 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. Not 3 2 p.m. That is the time. Those time I was to get a very good images because the tower is illuminated from all 4 sides. Again in the evening, same problem what I had in the morning. Okay, but again I cannot restrict that. Okay, I will only fly for that period of time. I have to capture the data. I have to see whatever the software way I can enhance or I can take angles, or maybe I have to increase number of photos more over there. Accordingly, I have to plan my capture. So this tone, shape, size, pattern, texture, shadow, and association, all that will come into the picture when you are actually analyzing your data over there. Okay. So that is a post-production data. Post-production, there was a team. Okay, there were GIS analysts or people who have worked on those software. There were teams. So our pilot job was to get that data from the field and give it to the separate team who will do the analysis of the data. So it is not the pilot job to do the analysis. In case there is any recommendation coming from the analyst team, they say, okay, we are not getting this type of photos or we are missing this type of photos and all the things. We used to correct in our flight plan accordingly, and then we used to capture and send it back to the analyzing team, and then they will tell that yes, now we are getting proper inputs, or in case they need some additional inputs from a particular tower, we used to fly the drone again over there at a different time of a day to capture whatever is missing into their data. Okay, so tone refers to the relative brightness or color of object in image. Generally, tone is a fundamental for distinguishing between different targets or features. Variation in tone also allows element of shape, texture, and pattern to be object to be distinguished. So a lot of time when we are taking the picture of the what is that called, insulators. So a lot of time एक angle से insulator ऐसा लगता है कि broken हुआ है because those insulator are always in dark brown color. Okay, so dark brown color जब आप image करते हो, so lot of time what you see is that the dark brown and the shadow, because they are one above there. If you have seen the insulators in the power line towers, they are one above there. There are almost like 9 to 10 insulators there. So वो क्या होता है ना, in sometimes because of the shadow of the above insulator and the below the insulator, you will see that insulator is also in dark color. तो कभी कभी even false हो जाता है कि टूटा हुआ भी नहीं दिखता है. Even the insulator is broken or damaged, it is not visible. So you have to check it properly. Okay. So again, until and unless you zoom it, see it properly, you cannot find the broken insulator or damaged insulators or missing insulators lot of time. So manually either you have to see it, but then how many photos a manually person can see over the period of time, it becomes very difficult and tedious. So this is one anomaly I am talking about, or one defect I am talking about. There are at least 15 to 20 defects which are visible in a power line tower. So next step was we have to create a artificial intelligence machine learning software to analyze these each images. So there were fed in that software, and that it will tell that okay, this photograph is having this issue, it is having a bird nest, it is having number plate missing, it is having a nut bolt missing, it is having a broken insulator. So all this was done through software. हम लोग पहले एक महीना तो physically कर रहे थे, but then we later on realized that physically it is not possible because we are talking about doing POC for 100 towers. Actual project was for 12,000 towers. तो सोचो कितना डेटा और कितना फोटोज आपको एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा. So physically, manually, it was not possible. You need to write or you need to develop a software for it. So then there was a separate team was involved who was working on the artificial intelligence and machine learning software development for that particular case. Okay, so tone, shape, again shape refers to general form, structure, outline, individual object. Shape can be distinctive clue, interpretation, straight edge shapes. Okay, agriculture field, natural forest. Okay, so shape, images in the shape will give you, like here you can see the field, right? You can see what is that? Joggers field is there, track and meet field is there. So you can see between there is a green and there are tracks on there. Okay, the shapes of the Z. Looking at the shapes, you can make out what could be the objects in the images. Okay, again pattern refers to special arrangement of visible distributional objects. Like these are orchid uh, trees, evenly spaced, urban trees, urban streets with regular spaced houses are good examples of pattern. Like we have done a survey for one of the societies in what is that location in okay where they have built up houses for low earning communities. So they have built a small houses, almost like 500 600 houses they have built. So they wanted to do a aerial photography of that entire area. Okay, so they how it is evenly placed and all the things. So pattern was recognized easily. Like these are similar type of houses and everywhere have giving the similar type of facilities over there. Okay, size, again size, like if you see here in the picture there are small houses, there is a big warehouse structure is over here, whereas there is a road coming here, then there is some intersection happening between the roads and all the things. So looking at the picture you can interpret what it is. Okay, so warehouse is there, industrial people who are actually working in this warehouse, they have their own houses nearby, or colonies nearby and all the things was there. Texture, again from the texture, like you can see here, this is a forest. Okay, so these are all trees over here, the open barren land is there, there is a grassland on the top. Okay, so you can see the picture accordingly, you can make interpretation of your images based on the texture. So texture is one of the most important element for distinguishing feature in radar imagery. So especially this is done during the radar, okay, or lidar imagery. What we do, we can get some kind of texture over there. Shadow, again as I told you the example, when I am taking photographs of the power line towers during the sunrise, after the sunrise till 11 a.m. the sun is at angle, so one side is illuminated, other side is not illuminated, there is a shadow of the tower following another side. So based on that shadow we used to know what time the image is being captured and what is visible and what is not visible. So we have to plan accordingly for a particular tower when we have to shoot it. Okay, the shadow is also helpful to interpret a provided idea of a profile or relative height of a target, or a target which is made identification easier. However, sometimes even shadow can reduce or eliminate interpretation. So sometimes it is useful, sometimes it is hindrance also. Okay, in their area of interest, since target within the shadow are much less or not at all discernible from their surroundings. So again, depending upon what time, what location you are capturing image, that also matters the most. Okay, so shadow is also useful for enhancing or identifying topography or landform, particularly in radar imagery. Okay, association. Association is with respect to what? If you are taking the image with respect to the water body or a mountain or any background. So it is basically association is with respect to the background. So whatever the background you are taking, like here you can see this is a water area. You can see the ships, the road going over here. There are some shops on either side of the roads. There is a open area where people can play, or it could be a playground and all that things. Okay. So in our example, a lake is associated with boats, a marina or adjacent recreational land. So this is the lake. There are some boats over here, and then you can see a adjacent recreational land. Okay. That is what it is trying to say. Okay, so type of images and video data. Infrared images could be there, near infrared images could be there, night visions could be there, thermal images could be there, multispectral images can be also there. So apart from your normal RGB images, there are other way of images also available for interpretation. So like infrared images is there, okay, or near infrared images are there. So like this is RGB image, this is your near infrared images. Okay, so you can have a NDV parameters over here. Okay, thermal images are there. We have seen in earlier also in the example. Okay, multispectral images are there. Like this is normal image. Whatever you are seeing in a normal color, this is normal images. But whereas this is a multispectral image. Okay, here the crops are identified on their NDV values. Okay, so basically the more what we say or the less NDV value, it is a barren land. The more NDV value or the higher the NDV value, it is a crop. Okay, or it is a full-fledged crop. Like if you see wherever you are seeing the green, okay, these are all completely developed crop. Whereas here there are some crops which have been in recent development stage, okay, or been created. You can see the difference. Okay, there is some issue with the crop over here. Okay, as you zoom, you can see. Okay, so it is not possible by standing at the edge of the field you can see what is happening in the ground. So, but aerial view of your crop can give you a complete holistic view of your crop, and then necessary action can be taken. You can detect the disease or infected location of your crop earlier, rather it becoming very big. Even the small segment of your crop has got damaged because of the pest or the insects or anything. You can detect them earlier by doing the aerial photography of your crop, so that rather waiting for a bigger area, then when you realize, when you go there, then only will come to know. Okay, so rather that you just send a drone, fly the drone over your crop and get a data, and your data is available with you on the mobile or on the picture, and you can take a decision. Okay, so that is what beauty of the crop monitoring using drones. Okay, night vision camera also can be used. Okay, like recent times this was mostly used on the border area also. Recently border area, a lot of drones are being equipped with night vision images also. Okay, so Indian Army is using for patrolling or monitoring the borders using night vision images or cameras also. Okay. Okay, so introduction to photogrammetry. Earlier, photogrammetry was existing earlier also. People used to take the photographs and they used to hard print them, and then they used to understand and study about it. But because of the digitalization, digital photogrammetry is changing rapidly, form the basis of the most current photogrammetric operations. Because of the digitalization, photogrammetry subject has taken a good leap. Okay, you can analyze online itself. So mapping from aerial photograph can take numerous forms, can employ hard copy or soft copy approaches also. Ortho photos combined with the geometric utility of map with extra real world image information provided by the photograph. So you can see there is a lot of enhancement has happened in the ortho photographs also. The process of creating ortho photograph depends on the existence of reliable digital elevation model. Okay, so more amount of the data you capture, the more better orthophoto you will able to have it. Okay, so whenever there is a project released by any organization, they will ask you how much overlapping you need to have within the subsequent photos. So normally they will tell you like 60%, 70%, or 80%. Like that overlapping, they would define how much zoom should be the possible. Like it could be 5 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 2 centimeter. All these parameters would be defined when they are asking you to capture the data. Okay, so what can you do through the drone data analysis? Images gathered during the mission can be processed using the software to sort, organize, and manage the data contained within the image. Like I said you the example about the power line draw monitor. So once we have so much data, initially we were putting in a local hard disk, local laptops, but then we later on, after creating data of almost 20, 30 towers, it was very difficult for us to manage this data within one laptop or a drive. Then we bought a cloud space. Okay, and we, because it is not the data to be used by only one person. There were multiple people, multiple teams were working on data. So later on, we thought that it is not advisable to hold the data in one particular laptop or a drive. Rather than we should host it on some cloud. Okay, so we started uploading all the data on the cloud so that it can be accessible by various teams for their various activities. Okay, so image processing tools, then they produce final set of data. So there, every tower, whenever we do the survey, we upload the data. There is a team which downloads that data, does the reporting, and creates the what is the report of that power. Okay, so earlier when we did 100 towers, out of that 100 towers, 85 towers were having issues. How much? 85 towers were having issues. When we completed the project after 6 months, only 10 towers were left with the issues. So we brought that difference in the monitoring of the tower and making sure that all the issues are being rectified and your towers are in good condition. Because earlier what happens, no, these issues were never reported housing. A lot of time that wire will get broken, there will be power outage. So when power outages happen, what happens if there is a big power line tower goes faulty, your wire breaks or something happens because of fire or spark or anything? What would happen? There will be certain area in the areas in that district will not have power for 2 days, 3 days. People will come try to identify where what problem, what has happened. Accordingly, they will take action. तो ऐसे करके 7 दिन 10 दिन ऐसे ही निकल जाता था. Okay, so that is a loss for normal people also. Their day-to-day life is getting disturbed. Even the power board is losing the revenue because no power is being given to the consumer. So consumer is not consuming the power, so they will not pay for those 10 days. So power board is also losing the money. The more uptime you get with the power lines, the more healthy it will be there. Okay, so that is how it is used, this project for them. So final report can be generated to share with the key stakeholders. So this initially we did only for the POC. So we are talking about only 100 towers. See the difference what has brought when we did the small POC, but it helped a board to decide to set up a complete team, and they were actually asking us also to do a continual for the other projects. But then since I was not part of that organization now, I do not know what has been done further now. But I heard that they are engaged with the next phase of the projects, and they are trying to do some more towers and cover up a lot of ground over there. Okay, so final report can be generated to share with the key holders and decision maker to review and further action if needed. Okay, so even whenever we are shared the report, first 3 months का report हमने जब share किया था, 65 towers 85 towers were having problems. The board has taken decision, immediately called their vendors, and they asked them to rectify all the problems in next 1 month. So they wanted to do next 30 days all the 85 towers, whatever the problems are, to be rectified. After 1 month, we were again asked to do the survey of those towers. So first phase, we were able to see that from 85 we have come to 65. In second phase, we came to 35, and in last phase we came to 10%. So only 10 towers were having issues. Okay, I mean there were minor issues, even though 10 towers were having issues, but the amount of issue was very minor, like vegetations were there around the ground, or there was no barbed wire around the towers, or there was no number plate or the danger plate fixed. So there were these are minor issues, not the major issues. These are not going to create power outages. Okay, not having a barbed wire, not having a danger plate, not having, so these are not impacting the revenue or not impacting the business or not going to have outages. Okay, so these were least critical issues. So those 10 towers were having less critical towers. So that way you can give a health of a tower also. So the maybe health of this tower might be maybe somewhere around 7 or 8, whereas the good tower might be having a good healthy rating. It may be having a rating of 10. If one tower is having a completely perfect, that will give a value of 10. Okay, so that way they were able to see out of that 10, 100 towers, how many were healthy towers. So they were setting the benchmark. So there is a new way of looking towards your tower or your assets. Okay, by using drone. पहले कैसे करते थे मालूम है? They used to take a jeep. There used to one person used to go with the DSLR camera. वो नीचे जमीन पे खड़ा रह के zoom camera से फोटो लेता था टावर का. Or they used to carry a binocular and they used to physically observe the tower. So this is very difficult and very subjective to the person to person. Okay, so this was not 100%. ये सब time pass activity होता था. और ये कैसे होता था? अभी जाता था ना, the person used to go. They used to do it for like 7 days, 10 days. तो उनके लिए वो पिकनिक होता था. They used to go village to village, village to village, stay in hotel, this and that. और 10 दिन के बाद वापस आते थे. Then they used to file a report, a manual report and all this. But this was not a concrete monitoring of the tower. By using drone, it has completely changed the way you look towards the data, and using the drones, how you was able to capture data. So the ways to view the drone data, depending on the software you utilize, you should able to view your data concisely in the following, right? your reports. We used to generate report in CSVs, PDF, charts, graphics, tables, performatic platform analytics using performance figures, order, mission, inspection, flight, pilots data. All that we can were giving return of investment. I told you, right? Outages were reduced, so you can track the efficiency, safety benefits, program results, data mapping, and so they were talking about when we were leaving. The board was talking about that we want to create a real-time 3D model. In real-time scenario, we want to check. So, moment I just click on the website, I click the particular tower, it should give me a 360-degree view of it. If I want to see whether the number plate is there or not, I should able to see that. So you will have all that images uploaded in your software, and it was creating a 3D model of it. Okay, so data mapping and navigation with graphical user interface to navigate across 2D 3D model will visualize on maps and click through, like how we survey the Google Earth, right? हम लोग Google पे जाके every location देखते रहे. These are what? These are nothing but these are all images. Same thing can be done in the software or in the data whatever we have captured. So you can have a 3D view of your complete tower also over there. Okay, so with that we are good to complete our today's session. Only left out session is digital sky model. Okay, so we can do that digital sky model on day 3. Okay, during our simulator sessions or during our before simulator sessions. During our summary sessions, I will take you that session and run you through. I will share you the link of the digital sky model. Even you can scroll and go up to that. In case you have any query, feel free to reach to me directly. Okay, so with that, we complete our today's